We're going to be doing the problems from the official SAT study guide for the new SAT. Number 1. This is x minus 1 over 3 equals k, and k equals 3, what's the value of x? Well, this is a simple substitution problem. What you're going to do is take your 3, k equals 3, put it in for k. So you get x minus 1 over 3 equals k equals 3. Cross multiply, you get x minus 1 equals 9. Add 1 to both sides, and you get the answer of x equals 10. So it's B. All right, the next one's an imaginary number problem, but it's a really simple one. So all they're asking us to do is to add these together. You're going to treat i's as if they were just a variable. So you're going to add the like terms together. So we're going to add 7 and negative 8 together, and we get negative 1. And we add 3i plus 11i, and we get 12i plus 12i. So there's nothing you have to do with this part. This is just in case it was, you did have a square root of negative 1 or an I squared. So this is simply A. All right, number 3. On Saturday afternoon, Armand sent M text messages each hour for 5 hours. Tyrone sent P text messages each hour for 4 hours. Which of the following represents the total number of messages sent by Armand and Tyrone on Saturday afternoon? So you're going to take the number of text messages is the number of messages per hour. So Armand's messages were M, and he did it for 5 hours, so it's 5M. And for Tyrone, it would be 4M. 4 hours, 4P, because he's P. And that answer is C. First ones, of course, are easier, so most of you probably got these right. Kathy is a repair technician for a phone company. Each week she receives a batch of phones that need repairs. The number of phones that she has left to fix at the end of each day can be estimated with the equation P equals 108 minus 23D, where P is the number of phones left and D is the number of days she has worked that week. What is the meaning of the 108 in this equation? Well, one thing you can do is you can put a 0 in for the days, and you can see that she's starting out with 100. On day 0, she's starting out with 108 phones. So that's how much 108 is what she starts the week with, 108 phones to fix. I'll go into more details in the problems that are a little bit more difficult. So let's move on to 5. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression above? Well, this is a simple polynomial subtraction problem. All we're going to do is we're going to distribute the negative sign through to each of the terms of the second polynomial. So we get x squared y minus 3y squared plus 5xy squared minus, it's going to be plus because you have a negative times a negative, x squared y minus 3xy squared plus 3y squared. You have a negative 3y squared and a positive 3y squared, so they cancel out. You have a x squared y right here and another x squared y. They're like terms. They have the same variables with the same exponents, so we have 2x squared y. I like to cross them out as I use them. And these are also like terms, the two that are left. So you have 5 minus 3 is 2xy squared. And we used all our terms. We look for our answer, and it's right here. All right, not bad so far. Okay, number 6. A pediatrician uses the model above to estimate the height of a boy in inches in terms of the boy's age, A, in years between the ages of 2 and 5. Based on her model, what is the estimated increase in inches of a boy's height each year? This is a linear equation, so it's going to increase the same amount per year because the slope is going to stay the same. So what I did, there's a couple different ways to do this. What I did was, it says ages between 2 and 5, so I put in 2 for the age, substituted that in, and when I did that I got 34.6 without a calculator. And then I just substituted in a 3 for when he's 3 years old, 28.6, and I got 37.6, and the difference between the 2 years is 3. And it's going to be the same, as I said, between each age because it's a linear equation. Okay, and you can just see that we have the 3 right there, but I think it's better to substitute your numbers in to be sure. All right, a lot of people miss this one. It looks really complicated, but these problems are similar to the old SAT. They do seem to increase in difficulty as they go up. It's not quite as significant as the old SAT where they got much harder towards the end. These are kind of all similar in difficulty, but the last ones are definitely more complicated. So even though this one looks really difficult, it's not that hard of a problem. For instance, if I had m equals 2/3 p, and they say, let me read the problem. The formula above gives the monthly payment m needed to pay off a loan of p dollars at r% annual interest over n months. Which of the following gives p in terms of MRN? Now you're going to see that fairly frequently, something in terms of other numbers. So in terms of means these guys, the MRN, are going to stay in the equation. And you're going to solve for p. When it says in terms of, those are the ones that are going to stay. When it says solve for, that's the one you're going to get by itself. So if I were doing this simple equation, what I would do to get p by itself is I'd just multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So I'd multiply by 3/2, I'd multiply this side by 3/2. When you multiply by the reciprocal, it's just going to be 1. So you would get p equals 3/2 m. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides of this big equation by the reciprocal of this. And the reciprocal is we're just going to flip it, and it's going to go on the other side. So these are all solved for p. So we're going to look for the one where this, the denominator, is now in the numerator. And if we look, here's the denominator right here. There's the denominator right here. That's in the numerator now, and the numerator is now in the denominator. So this is just a simple reciprocal problem solving equation, but it just looks really complicated. But try to remember, when you're on number 7, it's probably not as difficult as they may make it seem. So the correct answer for that one is B. So I'm going to end the video here. If you need more, which you probably will need, I'll make some other videos for those.